The Proper Football Live Show. Sundays at 6 p.m. for your football fix on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and PF Radio. Check out our website at properfootball.co.uk.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 6 o'clock Monday. It's Proper Football Live. And you've got me back after my absence last week. How are you doing, Nigel?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, mate. Bit of a quiet week for me with mum being away shit, so been in the house most of the time. But yeah, it's been all right.
Yeah, been all right. So I'm going to introduce you to Darren. This is Darren Ashley. Now I'm going to tell you before you say anything, I'll give you a little bit of history with Darren. Me and Darren go back a long way. I was his manager for quite a while back in the day when we were younger men. He'd been to a few football matches with me. He's QPR supporter. And I'm just going to have to bring up this picture, people, and I'm going to make you laugh now. And this is to prove once upon a time, maybe I was a bit slimmer than what I look like now. Right, let me find it. Here we go. So there we are. There's me on my knees near enough. And there, right behind me, is Darren. That was at Fulham. Look, see, I did play a bit of football, Nige. Not at your level, though.
I thought you was a goalkeeper, mate.
No, that was Mark Day. I think we swapped bellies over the years, to be fair. Yeah, that was me and Darren playing for our work side. Didn't we play at Luton a couple of times as well?
That's right. Yeah,
didn't we?
Yeah.
So we have graced a few professional grounds, me and Darren. But no. So Darren, brilliant. Thank you for coming on. Just quickly, Darren, we'll talk more about it through the show. But Darren runs the Football Fans Memory page on Facebook, which we'll advertise a little bit later on. And he also has started recently doing Simply Football, which is similar to some of the stuff we've done, where you are going around and doing podcasts at non-league football grounds. But again, Darren will come on to all that, but just really want to say welcome on board and how you doing?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me first, Gaz. Yeah, I'm all right. Had a busy week as well. Took in some football yesterday and delighted to be on your show.
And we're going to talk a bit more about that. But I guess the best thing we can do, gentlemen, is open up with what's been going on at the weekend. Now, a little bit in the show, I am going to focus on some of the promotion pushing sides in both the League 1 and 2 and the National League. So we'll have a look at the tables. There's some exciting stuff going on down there in the lower leagues and in that National League, South, North and the National League. But let's just start, unusually me, to start with Premier League. But yeah, West Ham 2, Arsenal 2. I'm going to come to Nigel first. I think you've said this. Are Arsenal going to bottle out an Arsenal title?
It's in Man City's hands now, I think, because if they win the game in hand, they're 1 point behind Arsenal, and they've still got to play Arsenal. And I think they'll beat Arsenal. So if that happens, then if they win all the games on the running and Arsenal do the same, Man City win the title.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 2-0 up again today, and they've drawn 2-2. So I think the bottom's starting to go a little bit.
And a desperate point for West Ham, Darren.
Yeah, it was a good result for West Ham coming back from 2-0. Getting back to your question, I don't think Arsenal will bottle it. I think they're going to win it still. I take the point about how great Manchester City are.
But do you honestly think they're going to play Man City and beat them?
No, but they don't have to.
Well, they do because
they don't.
City have got a game in hand.
Right? So that puts them 1 point behind.
Yeah. And then when they play Arsenal, it's like a 6-pointer. So they go ahead of Arsenal and they beat them.
Yeah.
If.
Well, I mean, I don't think Arsenal beat City in the form they're in at the moment. City, they seem to be hitting peak form right at the right moment.
So right now, if City win all their games and don't lose a game, they win.
Yeah.
Yes.
They win the league.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but like I said,
People,
Arsenal
what
don't
do you think? Let us know.
Arsenal don't have to go to the Etihad and win. A draw would still keep them a point in front. And then if Arsenal win the rest of their games, they win the league.
Let's work that one out.
That Arsenal need to shoot Haaland to beat City.
Yeah.
So
No, I don't think Arsenal will beat City. I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a draw.
Okay, yeah. So realistically, it really is.
It's all on that game, really.
It's all on that game because either City win all their games or Arsenal win all their games. Whichever one does it wins the league. Simple as that, really, isn't it? Just want to say good evening to Jody and to Paul Stone. Good evening, people. Welcome on board and hope you enjoy the show. It's Manchester City 2, 0 up at Forest at the minute. Forest,
Man United.
Forest looking curious there. We've said this, Nigel, haven't we?
Yep.
About Forest, and if they go down with all the money they've spent, where does that leave them as a club? Don't know. We're gonna continue. Let's have a chat about the Premier League and the Championship, because after that, I want us to focus on the promotion chases in League 1 and 2, as well as National League. National League, what? Wow, that's just wow going on in that fight for that promotion spot there. And also National League North and South. We'll have a look at them as well.
Tell you what, Gary,
sorry.
Just to interrupt you there, I'll tell you what, when you're looking at that Premier League, how the hell have Aston Villa ghosted into 6th place?
I know. I was going to mention that. Villa, like a great win over Newcastle. You know, Newcastle, are they going to make top 4 or not? We don't know. Chelsea going down 2-1 to Brighton at home. Chelsea, getting rid of the manager. Was that a mistake, Darren?
It remains to be seen, obviously. Graham Potter, 3rd manager of the season now, Chelsea are on. Well, I think it was a mistake because I don't necessarily rate Lampard as a manager yet. What he's done so far, Derby, Chelsea, Everton. Might as well have stuck with Potter. I don't really believe 8 months is enough time to turn around fortunes at Chelsea. But it's a results business, isn't it? And there's no doubt they're having a season of struggle. And as a QPR fan, I'm delighted about that.
Yeah, the thing is, if you look at the situation Chelsea were in, I couldn't see the point in sacking the manager, because it's not as if you're going to bring a manager in that could actually win the league for them or get them into a European Champions place. They're in no danger of going down, but they're not going to win it. So they might as well have just let Potter get on with it, give him the time to build his squad the way he wants them to play, and go, okay, we'll wipe this one off. We'll start with a clean slate pre-season, and we'll go from there.
Agree.
I mean, they've got nothing to win, have they, Chelsea? So it was pointless.
Completely agree. Silly move. But then they've got this American who don't know nothing about football leading them. So what do we expect? I just want to... We'll talk about the big result, which I believe is a big result the weekend in the Premier League at the moment. But just want to catch up with everyone, putting the comments up. Hello again, Alex. How you doing, fella? Good evening to Gareth. Good evening to... Who else we've got? Alex has come on. Gareth Williams has come on. Right, okay, so we've got a couple of questions, lads. Who do you think's going to be in the bottom 3? We're being asked. So, Darren, come on. Who do you think, mate?
Southampton and Forest, for sure.
Yeah.
Third one, Leeds. I hope Leeds stay up, but I think it'll be Leeds.
Okay. Nige?
Yeah, Forest and Southampton, I think, at the moment. I think Leicester have got they've got this sort of they've got a few players down there, flair players that could get them out of trouble. I can see Everton being sucked into it now. They just don't seem to have it at the moment.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go Southampton, Forest. Sorry, Gary, if you're watching. That's boatsy. But I'm afraid I have to say I'm going to go Leicester. I think Leicester, sorry to all my Leicester friends as well, but I think that is where I think it'll go. with possibly swapping places, Leicester and Everton, possibly, but I'll go with Leicester with that one. Talking about the bottom three, gentlemen, surely the result of the weekend in the Premier League was Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, what a result!
Absolutely amazing. They've done really, really well. What are your views on that, Darren?
I love Bournemouth. Shining example for a small club to thrive and prosper in the Premier League at the big boys. Bournemouth have got enough spirit in them. They've got enough spirit in them to stay up. They play decent football as well. They found their feet. Yeah, and I think they're going to be okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think they'll be all right this season, but I still think they're going to be a side that's going to be struggling every year in the Premier.
Broken up.
Right. Prosper and all that. 40 years they've Premier. They've not invested in their shithole. Not been Premier long enough. It's me. That's me having a few problems with my internet, people. Yeah. Ooh.
I think it's
I'm having trouble with my internet.
When you're saying that, guys, it's a bit 50-50. I mean, like you're saying, Bournemouth aren't really spending money on players and stuff like that. But look at Forest; they've got the players. Forest the ground. Just done that. Oh right, got you. So you break it up. You can't hear.
The ground. They've not.
Oh right.
My internet is suffering, chaps. So I don't know how much I'm coming through.
You're okay now, Gaz?
Am I? Okay, well, I'm showing poor signal. So apologies, folks, if we're having trouble. We'll come back to everyone putting messages. My point about Bournemouth simply was they've got a ground that holds, 11,000 odd. They've been in the Premier League now since 2014, with the exception of one season, and they've not added one seat to that ground. They've actually taken seats out to put more media in. And for me, a ground like that shouldn't be in the Premier League. And if you're in the Premier League as long as they've been, they should have invested in upgrading that ground, at least put in something, get some more. That's me. But hey, as a playing side, I think they do quite wisely with their spending with the players, don't they? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm back. Right. Let me just quickly go back on to Villa at Brentford next week. That'll be a cracking game. That's from Jody. From Alex, because we're getting better and better each week, just shows you what a poor manager Gerrard is. Thoughts, gentlemen, on that one? Darren?
It might be jobs to the boys. Perhaps that might be a controversial thing to say. And he did okay.
We love controversy, Darren. You carry on.
Yeah, he did a decent job in Scotland, I guess. Breaking Celtics. I don't know how many in a row they had won. I think they were on for 10 in a row when he finally won the league. But one trophy in God knows how many attempts. But he came in with a lot of fanfare to Villa. And he started off all right, and then there seemed to be that trouble with Tyrone Mings, didn't there? And perhaps he lost the dressing room, and they were sinking fast. They got rid of him at the right time. Unai Emery's come in, and like Nige says, they suddenly ghosted themselves up into 6. And they're doing really, really well.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know they're not your popular club, Nige, but I mean, got to take your hat off to him. He's done well, Emery, isn't he?
Yeah. He's turned things around there, but again, I don't think you can say whether a manager's a good manager or a bad manager when they only get 10 games before they get the sack. So it's, really, it's a gamble. Like you could go there and you could hit a purple patch where you've got 6 wins out of 10 and things are going well, and then you carry on managing the side till the end of the season. But when they're only getting 8 to 10 games, they could go to Liverpool and the same thing could happen, couldn't it?
I'm sorry I'm laughing, mate. We've had a message pop up there. I don't know if you've seen it yet, chaps. From Tang Bong King. Sup, handsome lads.
I'll take that.
I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you for that as well. First time I've been called handsome for many years. But thank you, Tang Bong Ken. Anyway, Ian Hells, good evening to Gary, Callie and Darren. Hope you're all well. Paul Stone. I'll reply to Jody there. Lucky. Okay. As well as being a Brentford fan, I also follow Torquay. Torquay winning 5 games in a row now to fight relegation. We are going to touch on National League shortly. Poor Scunthorpe being relegated for the second time in a row. Dreadful for that club. But then I suppose they're lucky that they've still got a club with how close they came. Again, Gareth Williams saying that Torquay putting up a late fight to stay up, finding form at the right time. Sorry, that one's tickling me. Dear oh me, that's funny. It was nice to see Everton go down. It wouldn't be so nice to see Luton go up. That's from a Watford supporter. There you go. Ben Higgins, good evening, lads. Good evening, Ben. Hope you're well. I'm sorry, that's that is. Who's the handsomest? Come on, Yang Pong Ting. Sorry, Tang Pong. Anyway, who's the handsomest? Oh, come on. Right, okay. Actually, I'll tell you what. Dan's not with us today. Right, so we're going to have. We don't normally do this, but we're going to have a ladies' moment. So, Dan has gone down or up, shall we say, the country to take in the FA Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Aston Villa. And it's the ladies' semi-final at Walsall. There you go. There were the scenes at Walsall today for the ladies' FA Cup semi-final. That little girl in the background, when she first started screaming, I thought it was the resurgence of what was that thing they used to play at the World Cup in South Africa? The Vuvuzela or whatever. Yeah. Dear. So Dan's down there, bigging it up with the ladies. I was going to bring up something else, but I didn't download it in time. And that was just congratulations to Stourbridge ladies who won promotion yesterday. So well done them. By the way, Chelsea won
second half in the bar, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I've been there for the whole game, but there we are. That was Chelsea winning 1-0 to get through to the FA Cup final in the ladies' version of the sport. I do try. Let's quickly touch on
the ladies' version.
The ladies' version of football.
I like it.
No.
I do. I don't mind it. You can't.
No, I ain't knocking women from playing football.
I
I've said this all along. There are elements about it I don't like.
Yeah.
And that's the money element. I don't agree with that. And not until their sport can generate the sort of fan base is needed to pay the sort of money that some of these women are getting paid. Yeah. But hey, we don't want to go into this too deeply, do we? Nigel, you like women's football, don't you? I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm all for women playing football.
Yeah, definitely.
It's at a slower speed than what you watch men play at, and I just prefer watching men's football. Simple as. Everyone's got a choice, like it's there, and my mate Greg, his team are doing well at Billericay.
Yeah.
So if England ladies are playing, I want them to win.
No, and congratulations to them ladies as well at Billericay for getting they won the Essex Cup or whatever it was, didn't they, last week? I believe. Yeah,
they played Charlton, and they were 1-0 up, and the referee decided to play 5 minutes of injury time, which turned into 11 minutes, and they scored with the last kick of the ball to take it to penalties. And they lost it on penalties, Billericay. So I think 2 days later, they played the next cup final and they won that. So fair play to them.
So we're not totally anti-women's football, Darren.
No,
There's
no.
elements about it.
I don't compare it to men's football. I just take
No,
it for what it
that's
is.
what they've done wrong in a lot of
That's the big
areas.
issue.
Yeah, you shouldn't compare
That's
it.
the big issue. They should have not compared.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people then create the negativity towards women's football. And that's brought on by not themselves, but it's been brought on by this constant, I've even heard wage demands. We want the same as men.
Yeah.
When you're playing in front of look, Walsall today, FA Cup semi-final.
Supply and demand, Gaz. Supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
Not even, 2/3 for Walsall for an FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
So it's where it is. Don't go above yourselves until you're there. It's taken men's football 140 years to get where it has. Let's be honest. Right, okay, before we get too many complaints, let's quickly have a look at the Championship. And I hate to say it.
Let's not.
I hate to say it. We do have to Luton. Fuck it. No, sorry. And they doing well. That hurts me. Oh, dear. They're doing well, Luton, aren't they, though, Nige?
Yeah, you can't knock them at the moment. They're getting the results. They're third in the league now, so like guaranteed playoffs, aren't they? But the ones behind them, I think Middlesbrough have been in the playoffs, but you've got Millwall, Blackburn, Coventry, even Preston are up there now. Where have they come from? Sort of, they're all in with a chance of the playoffs. So I think we know he's definitely going to be Luton and Middlesbrough. Not unless Sheffield United have a meltdown. But they're looking quite good at the moment, aren't they? But Watford 12th.
Yeah, I think Greg predicted Sheffield possibly melting down before the end of the season, actually. But yeah, Watford, as bad as they've been, they're still only 3 points off the playoffs.
4 points.
4, is it? Darren, your question to you coming from Alex. Are QPR really as bad as the table suggests?
No, we're worse. We're worse because we're not even in a relegation spot just yet. But that's only a matter of time. One win since the middle of December. And obviously we've had 2 managers in that spell. Confidence is at an all-time low. It's just really, really, really bad. Really bad. We could go back to early in the season when Mick Beale was our new manager. Wolves came in for him. He turned it down. We were top in October. And then he buggered off to Rangers. I don't necessarily blame him because, at the end of the day, it's just a job and it's a higher profile job. It's a promotion. But yeah, confidence and everything has just gone downhill since then. And it's not a good place to be at the moment, Loftus Road.
No. You've got to just mention Burnley and congratulations on them going up, which we knew they would. And to be fair, what a job do you think he'll stay with them, Darren?
Company?
Yeah.
Vincent Company?
Sorry, yeah.
Yes, I do.
I hope so.
He was at Anderlecht before, wasn't he? And he wasn't pulling up any trees there, but Burnley gave him a chance. And, there's not really much loyalty in football apart from fans, but I think he's going to stay with him to the start of the season and see how Burnley do next year. But yeah, I think he will stay.
Cool. What do you reckon, Nige? I think we talked about
it. Yeah, we said it's about whether he's going to get back with a bit of money to buy players to improve that side, because no matter how well they played in the Championship, it's a big leap into the Premiership. So he's going to have to strengthen the team. His way of thinking is that he'll get time at Burnley to do that. Whereas if he takes a Tottenham job or something like that, again, it's 8 to 10 games. If you ain't won 5 out of them 10, you're under pressure again. So it's different. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one.
Yeah. Good evening, Pidge from Tailor-Made Army. How are you doing? He's just said he's going to Spurs.
So
I think what people are.
When you're looking at the manager situation, Gaz, I mean, Darren mentioned Frank Lampard took the job at Chelsea and he weren't quite ready for it. And but also you've got to think to yourself, well, that Chelsea or Tottenham job that they've been offered to him might never ever come along again. So when you're company, you're thinking, well, I want to have a crack at the top leagues, the top teams. I want to have a crack at a team that could get Champions League football. So that's the other side of the coin, where he might think I might. And I know a lot of Derby fans didn't like Frank Lampard because he left us, and they quite like Frank, and he went to Chelsea. But again, I think when Chelsea come in for you, and you're a young manager, you're thinking to yourself, well, if I don't take it now, it might be what if all them years down the line, what if I'd have taken that job? So, yeah, there's two sides of the coin on it.
Yeah. Getting some good interaction here. Alex company will go to Leicester or even Spurs. Obviously, both of them clubs are going to be looking for managers now. Pidge, personally, company should stay at Burnley. I hope he does. Again, Alex, and this is a really good point, Alex, because I've seen this at so many. I'm going to mention this happened at Watford actually with Sean Dyche. When the Pozzos bought Watford, they just dumped Sean Dyche and brought in Zola. Obviously, Sean Dyche has gone on to prove that he's certainly a more accomplished manager than Zola ever could be. Zola was a great guy, but he was probably too soft. I don't know, but and that was purely what Alex's point is. Part of it is getting a manager coming in who can attract players, and that's exactly what they did at Watford with Sean Dyche. Because he wasn't really known then, and they wanted to attract bigger players, get rid of him, bring in Zola, who was going to obviously. So yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to have a quick look. Any other outstanding? I mean, Sheffield United getting that 4-1 win at home to Cardiff does sort of indicate that potentially they ain't going to give the ghost up and see it through. Millwall getting a good 2-0 win at Preston, keeping their playoff hopes alive. QPR losing at home 3-0 at Coventry. Ooh, ooh, Darren. Right, okay. What I'd like to do now is, Darren, I just would like to touch on what you do, and for people listening to the show today. So a quick intro, and then you maybe give us a bit more insight into what you're up to. So firstly, you run the football. Let me actually just do this first. Bear with me, people. Let me just pop this up so that you can check Darren out on Facebook with football fans football memories. So Darren runs a Facebook page which is called Fans Football Memories. Look it up on Facebook. It's going along the bottom there, and it's where, well, Darren, you can tell us what it's all about actually. And then you also recently, I would think it is, isn't it, have started Simply Football, where you're visiting non-league clubs and doing little video logs of what's going on at their grounds and some of the games. Tell us a little bit firstly about the football memories, and then about what you're up to with Simply Football, please.
Okay. Fans Football Memories was an idea. It came about, I was in lockdown for 10 days with a missus, and I needed to get away from her. So
she's working, you're just watching this.
Yeah. So I needed something to occupy a bit of time instead of like watching like soap operas and what have you. So I created this group, and it was a little embryo, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And it's not really about the group. It's just getting fans and ex-players posting about their memories of a particular match they went to, a funny story, anything like that, really.
And you're getting some ex-pros on there as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we've had a fair few stories from the likes of, let me think, Dane Whitehouse, ex-Sheffield United, fantastic contributor. Steve Spriggs, ex-Cambridge United. Terry Curran, Gary Nelson. Blimey, Trevor Senior. Quite a lot of the yesterday's heroes. So it's gone better than I could have expected, and it's bizarre. Gaz, we were talking a couple of days ago about the fact that, you end up meeting your heroes, and it's a bit mad to be friends with them. And that's how it's kind of turned out. I'm still shaking my head regarding it. So it's still prospering. It's 4 of us run the group now. It's 4 admins, and they're really great at what they do as well. So long may that continue. And regarding the YouTube thing, I don't know. I'm just a bit of a dreamer, really. And I started doing this little thing a few weeks ago. Firstly, I went to Milton Keynes Dons against Cambridge.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Went to Milton Keynes Dons Cambridge and done kind of like a time trial regarding the ball in play, actual time. Every time the ball went out, I stopped my stopwatch. When it came back into play, I started it again. And then I went to Brackley to see if it was as bad in non-league, and it was actually worse. And then I got the kind of like bug of doing these little YouTube vlogs and that, and I just started going around different non-league grounds, quite local, within half an hour to an hour away. But it's really enjoyable, and I absolutely love it.
And they can all be seen on your YouTube. We are going to start putting them up on our website for you. But they're all on your YouTube channel, which is advertised there. That's DASH-71. That's not dash as in dash. That is the word dash. Yeah. Check them out because you've been to like Banbury, Brackley. You went to what was the one? I guess it was my local Wellingborough.
Yeah, Long Buckby versus Wellingborough Town. Long Buckby hadn't won a home league game all season. Turned up, obviously got lucky, and they finally broke their duck.
So the fascination with non-league football, how's that sort of started?
Well, first and foremost, I'm priced out of pro football now, unless it's cup games where you get cheaper tickets. So, in all honesty, that was it. I tried non-league football. I didn't know what I was going to get myself in for, but I absolutely love it. Friendly, approachable, cheaper, not hassle of getting out the ground. Don't have to go online. You can pay at the gate. So many things, really. I'm hooked.
Mate, listen, what you're doing is brilliant. And I've watched near enough all your videos. So people, you really want to get on and check this out at Dash-71. And look out for look out for it on our website, because we're going to start putting them up on there for him as well. Fantastic, though. It's great promotion for the non-league clubs as well.
Thanks,
and you're
mate.
going right down to lower levels as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still amateurish doing my presentation, and I'm still learning, but I enjoy it. I was at Buckingham Athletic on Thursday for a local Winslow derby. I'll go anywhere as long as you have to pay to get in, really. That's it.
No, brilliant, mate. And me and Nigel took a trip to Colton Town the other week and had a great day, didn't we, Nigel?
Yeah. Got treated well, looked after us. Like I said, it was great being able to watch a game with a burger in one hand and a pint in the other.
Yeah.
No, it was just like the old days. You know, it was a good day out. And people appreciate the football there. They appreciate us coming down. It was a great day out.
It was really good. Really enjoyed it. And if you want to see that whole event, then go to our website or our YouTube channel. Either or, I'll put them all back up again in a minute. And check out mine and Nigel's day out at Colton Town. We did it all on video. Just a big shout out there to Thomas out there in Belfast. I met him a few weeks ago. We must go out and check out some of the football out there. You know, there's some really amazing facts. I think it was Thomas that told us this one, or somebody when I was visiting. Here's one for you. Who's the first club to ever win a European tournament? British club, sorry. Who's the first British club to ever win a European tournament?
Well, Spurs won their Cup Winners' Cup, didn't they, in the early 60s? But I know it's a trick question and it won't be them. So I guess it's an Irish team.
Sorry? Yeah.
Would it be an Irish team by any chance?
It is. The answer is Glentoran.
Oh.
And they what it was, they were due, I can't remember the exact detail, but it was just before the outbreak of war. And because war was on the horizon, they went out to play in the Vienna Cup or something like that, yeah. And they actually, a lot of the sides dropped out because obviously war was on the horizon. And they actually won the cup. The first, it's a great pub quiz one because you have to word it won a European tournament. The first British club to win a European tournament. I mean, it was 1938 or something. And it was Glentoran, yeah. But, we must pay a visit. Thomas, stay in touch, mate. It was a pleasure meeting you, by the way. Okay, went to my first non-league game yesterday, Weston-super-Mare. Oh, that's not a nice little ground there at Weston-super-Mare. And just saying that, I think 6th of May is the vets, British vets versus the American vets in a charity event at Weston-super-Mare. Check that one out as well. We'll try and get more detail on that. But yeah, that's British vets versus American vets at Weston-super-Mare. He went to Weston-super-Mare versus Merthyr Tydfil. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and definitely won't be my last venture into non-league. And I think, is this not the general feeling that people are getting now, that this is more genuine than what, as Nigel will say every time, football's just a business now. But maybe down that end of the pyramid, it feels more like what we were used to growing up, I guess. What do you think, Darren?
I agree, Gaz. For all the things that I highlighted why I liked non-league football, it just has this purity about it. Interaction. Obviously, at certain matches, it lacks a little bit of atmosphere, but that's about the only thing. I'd even recommend, if the football's a bit sterile, to get yourself around between the managers' benches, because that's an entertainment in itself. I love it. I just love it.
Nigel, you played a bit of non-league football as well towards the end of your career, didn't you?
Yeah, I played with Stafford Rangers. I even had a little stint at Barrow-wash Fix just to get myself fit. But it's definitely a more personal thing when you get down to the non-leagues. I mean, after the matches, the players were in the same bar as all the supporters having a drink and mingling with them and talking about the match. Sometimes you don't get that now. It's football. You've got the players' lounges, but everything's kept separate from the fans. So that's a part of football you get with non-league football. It's more of probably a lot of the lads know the supporters by the names and first names like that when you're in them clubs.
Yeah, no, it's certainly we've banged on about it for so long now. But Darren, carry on doing what you're doing with Simply Football, because that really does show people what it is all about. So I know we've done a few, but you've been doing quite a few. So fair play to you. And crack on. And people, please check out Darren's Facebook page. Put some memories up there. Nigel, get on there and chuck them a memory.
Get on there, Nigel.
No, I will do.
Mate. Chuck a memory in there. Trevor Senior. Anyway, and then if you want to check out what Darren is doing with the Simply Football, where he goes out to non-league football and does some videos, check them out, and also you'll be able to pick them up on our website shortly as well. That's brilliant. Okay, so we've got about 20 minutes left. So this is where chats. What have I got? I'll tell you what, I ain't got much in the way of funnies or anything like that. I have got a cracking goal. I'm not sure who the sides were, but have a check of this. Didn't mean to press that button again. It finished too quick. Oh, that nearly went through the net, that one, didn't it? What a cracking goal. And this is the thing, isn't it, though, guys? I mean, Nigel, we put a few of these goals up now. Some of the quality of the goals getting scored down at grassroots level football, they're amazing. True corkers that would grace match of the day any day of the week.
Yeah, so you're starting to see more of these goals now, but due to the fact that you've got camera phones now, it was probably going on back in the day when I was playing, but you're not getting cameras at every matches now. Like, with the camera phones, it's good. You can pick up them goals from all different levels of football.
I'm going to be quite controversial. I think I've raised this before about the whole setup when we were talking about England and that, but with the amount of foreign players that play in our top divisions, even sort of trickling down into League One and that. Are we finding that maybe 40 years ago, a lot of these guys playing down in the lower leagues and in the National League probably would have been playing top flight football in this country, but they're not getting the opportunities these days because, let's face it, I mean, it's a small percentage of English players, British players even, that are actually making it into top flight football in this country these days. Would you agree or disagree, Darren?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's different times now, isn't it? And because football is such a business, it's win at all costs, and nobody has got time to build things now. It's got to be instant success. So they'll go abroad to bring in professional footballers, so they're like hitting the ground running. Whereas back in the day, you could sort of like phase them in. You know, Liverpool, you know, notoriously, even in their successful days, they used to sort of like buy someone, and he'd usually stay in the reserves for about a year before finding himself in the first team. They could afford that luxury then, but it wouldn't happen nowadays because you have to win. It's all about immediate.
But does that, so the point being is, though, is that enhancing the quality of football down in the non-leagues because maybe a lot of decent players just cannot make it up higher?
Well, there's a lot of factors. There's always, you know, like through time, there's been quality players in non-league, but obviously the pitches are like, you know, like Crown Green bowling greens now kind of thing, aren't they? The footballs, all the technology, and the rules about tackling and stuff like that. It makes the footballers actually shine. Nigel, can you imagine how you would have fared on them pitches with what the defenders couldn't do anymore?
Yeah, it's certainly different back in my day. You know, you're playing on some pitches that are barely playable sometimes, and everything was different back in them days. You know, Watford actually, we really relied on the youth system to bring players through at Watford, and I'd say probably 70% of the players that came through at Watford actually got careers out of football. Yeah. Now you've got they're bringing up the players in the youth teams. I know Burnley have got a couple of players from I don't know, it's Man City or something like that, but they've got a couple of players that have been playing from this year. And he said it'd be great to have them next year, but the thing is, they'll be playing Premier League football next year because they're good enough. So that's what they're doing now. They're sort of loaning their players out to get them experience. But like you say, they can't wait for players to develop. They've got to have the ready-made article, you know. And it's just like I said, it's the same with the managers. You know, when they buy a player, they want goals straight away. Managers need wins straight away. So no one's getting a chance to actually bed themselves into a team. It's, you know, come here, do it, or else you're out.
And squads are bigger than ever nowadays, aren't they, in top football? Yeah, they're just bringing them in. And if they, like Nigel said, 5-10 games, not good enough, they're up the door. Next one comes in, so on.
No, absolutely. Good evening to Damo there. Hope you're doing all right, my friend. Okay, right. So what I want to do now is I want to go through Leagues 1, 2 briefly, National League and South and North, and just have a little look at how the tables are shaping up at the top, not at the bottom, at the top. We'll do the bottom another time. So we'll start obviously with League 1. And that's League 2. There we go. There's League 1. Okay, so there we are. We can't see Nigel, but I'll leave it up for a minute, Nigel. You have to excuse me. Plymouth flying out on top there with Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, it's the top 4. Barnsley really making a go of it there as well. Game in hand over Sheffield Wednesday. And will overtake them if they carry on the way they are. I mean, it is beginning to look like I'm looking at the wrong figures here. That's goal difference, isn't it? So, the top 4 now, pretty much going to battle out for them 3 spots, aren't they? Is it 3 spots or 2? It's 2, isn't it?
2.
2, isn't it? Wow, that's a battle then, isn't it? That is a proper battle going on there. Sheffield Wednesday sort of slipped up a bit there, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had a few hiccups, Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. I think Ipswich have got the momentum going now. I think I can't see the top 2 not going up.
Yeah, I agree. Darren, what do you think? Plymouth Ipswich?
Plymouth got a bit of a beating last weekend, didn't they? Against Bolton at Wembley. So you thought that would, might derail them a little bit. But a Devon derby, and they beat Exeter away. So
Derby. So it's a big win for them and all.
Yeah, Ipswich, like Nige said, absolutely flying at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday have hit the buffers a little bit, and Barnsley sneaking up from nowhere as well. But if there was a gun put to my head, I'm gonna bottle it, play safe, and say Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday. But I hope Plymouth go up.
Oh, you think Wednesday will do it? They got beat 3-2 against Burton Albion.
I'm almost a believer in a big team mentality or culture at football clubs. You know, like a reason. Look at Liverpool. You know, why is Anfield kind of like such a fortress, even when they're not playing well, when the team is safe? And I look at Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth, and everyone around them. I just got a feeling Wednesday will do it.
They're all big clubs up there, though, aren't they? I mean, Bolton are a big club. I mean, or a big enough club. Ipswich are a big club.
Yeah.
You know, Plymouth could be a huge club. They have a huge fan base.
Aren't they the biggest club in the country not to ever have top flight football? Something like that. Some kind of stat.
Possibly.
Like that.
Possibly. Nige, Derby look like they've blown even playoffs, don't they?
I don't know. You've got Bolton, Peterborough, and Derby, 71, 70, 69. Again, it's whoever puts a little run together, isn't it? Really, they're still in there. I mean, like Wickham, 65. They've got a bit of a mountain. I think Sheffield. Well, the top four are going to be there, aren't they? Then you're looking at anyone from Bolton, Peterborough, and Derby. I think at the moment.
Yeah. Good point.
I don't think Peterborough will see it out. I've got a feeling Derby will go over Peterborough.
Derby won all at Bristol Rovers, didn't they, yesterday?
Yeah, they went in front and blew it again, didn't they? But again, it's an away match, though. Derby are a big club, they're a massive club, but they haven't got a big squad. They're still rebuilding at the moment.
And Peterborough going 2-0 down in their derby with Cambridge as well. So, it's an interesting one. Right, let's have a quick look at League 2. So, Leyton Orient have been pretty much ahead all season, and they're going to hold that down, aren't they? Northampton having a good season. Stockport up there, just come up from non-league last year. Carlisle having a run. What do you think of this one then, chaps? Darren, start with you.
That is very, very tight, isn't it?
Cool.
I think Leyton Orient are sailing their way to League One, and obviously 2 down to 8th. Maybe, maybe not 8th.
Maybe.
Is that top 2 or top 3 to go up on that one?
2. I can't remember now. Actually,
no, it's top 3 go up.
Top 3,
top 3 go up, and then
7th is playoff, isn't it? I don't know. I would like to see Northampton or Stevenage, or Northampton and Stevenage go up, just because they're relatively local.
I'm going to stick my neck out here, right? Because at the start of the season, I tipped Bradford to win the league.
You did.
I think they'll get the 3rd spot.
I believe they're playing away at Northampton on the last game of the season.
I think Bradford will get the 3rd spot.
I hope so, because they've got such good support. I also got to just mention Carlisle United as well. Their support for so far away is just immense. Their away support is immense. They take it like Plymouth, absolutely immense. I really would like if 4 sides go up, which they do. Leyton Orient, they're going to go up automatic. I'd like Northampton, Carlisle, and Bradford. That's what I would like to see. Bradford and Carlisle, based on their loyal fan support, deserve it. Okay, let's dip down into probably one of the most enthralling. This is almost equivalent to the top of the Premier League, isn't it? The battle between Wrexham and Notts County continues. Notts County getting beat by Wrexham on last Monday, 3-2. Ben Foster saving a penalty right at the end there. In what I've just seen so many comments from fans that watched that on the telly and said it's one of the best games I've seen all season. But them two clubs have set that league on fire without a doubt. Look at them, 104, and 103 points. Wrexham looking, well, it's up to Wrexham now, isn't it, really? But wow, that don't even go and ask me about the playoffs and how that works. It's so bloody confusing. It's just mental what they do. But as you can see, Chesterfield, Woking, Barnet, Boreham Wood, anyone again down to sort of Eastleigh, I suppose, are in with a shout, aren't they? So, but yeah, I mean, let me just pop this off the screen. Right, okay. Wrexham and Notts County, just been mad in it, Nige, what they've done in that league.
Yeah, you've. I think it'd be a long time till you see another league with two teams on over 100 points. That's a great achievement for both teams. It's just a shame that only one of them is going to go up automatically. But I think it's like we was on about the Arsenal Man City match. I think last week's game, Wrexham Notts County, that was a 6-pointer. I can't see Wrexham blowing it now.
No, I would go. And I'll be surprised if Notts County don't win the playoffs, because I think out of both sides they've probably been playing the better football.
Yeah. Do you know what though? The playoffs are. It's like Graham Taylor used to say to us: the FA Cup. The reason why you get so many shocks in the FA Cup is that if the bottom of the league side play the top of the league side 10 times, they probably lose 8 times, draw once, and probably get a shock win. And that's what happens in these playoffs. Like some of the sides that aren't right up there, they might just start hitting top form when it comes down to that final game. So you might see a final with Notts County against one of the others, and the cruelest thing might be that County have got over 100 points and they don't go up, because it's all about what happens on that day. Who turns up for the match.
Yeah. I'm going to. We're looking at the top of the table, the ups and downs. We're going to move into North and South very quickly, just to have a quick look at it. But one of the things, Darren, we touched on this. One of the problems in non-league football stems from the divide between North and South, which makes sense because of finances and travel costs and everything else. But a lot of clubs, as you start falling down the levels, are getting hammered because they're getting like Carlton Town, Chessington. I think, Darren, you were aware of a club it happened to, where they're getting put into leagues where they're having to come out of their areas. And like, for instance, Carlton Town, we know they appealed, but they got put into the North East League, which means most of their games have been played up in the North East. Their travel costs went up by £11,000 this year. Chesterton and Hook, it happened to them. It nearly destroyed them as a club. They couldn't cope, and a lot of it was players unable to commit to that travel that they have to have. The problem starts, this is having a conversation with Darren, and this is a real one that probably we need to talk about another day. But the problem starts in that if we start looking at as people start going down, if you're in National League North and then you've got starts in the National League. So in the National League right now, I didn't look at the bottom of the table, but let's say 3 sides from the National League go down, and they're all southern-based sides, right? That then creates a dilemma in where do you put them? How do they tumble down in the league? You can't suddenly, because going up, you only have, let's say, one going up from one league and one from another. So there seems to be a problem, I think, where because you've got it north and south at the very top of the non-league pyramid, then that has a knock-on effect all the way down as to how you like. So National League South, how do you then put 3 southern sides into National League South when only one goes up?
Well, what you've got is the imaginary line across the country. So obviously the National League North has got the northern clubs, and the South has got the southern. Yeah. But when teams get relegated or promoted into these particular league, this line moves. So
it has to, doesn't it? Yeah.
For example, So let's say the line is here now, and you've got Brackley in Northamptonshire and Banbury in Oxfordshire here, and you've got Blythe Spartans right up there in the northeast. As soon as you, if you get 3 teams relegated from the conference and they're southern teams, they go right down, and this bar will go up, and then you'll get another southern team that has to play in the northern section.
I mean, the bar goes down. Yeah,
it all depends who gets relegated and promoted and all that type of thing, really.
And is this the reason why, for instance, Carlton Town last season were in Northern Premier Midland Division, which includes Cambridgeshire and all round there as well, and the Midlands, and they had a really good season, just missed out on the playoffs, and then this season they were told, no, you're going in North East League, where they've struggled. I wonder if this is that line moving at the top end of the non-league pyramid, creating the waves down the bottom end, at Chesterton and Hook, where clubs are being told, no, you've got to go in that league now, because there's no way of distributing the relegated clubs correctly. It must have a ripple effect, mustn't it?
It might do. I mean, don't get me wrong, the teams that have come up from the conference are into the north and south have their own regional feeders into that as well.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be quite as bad. But it all depends, like the league structure, doesn't it? Some teams drop out for finances. Things like that, which then would create a space into another league. And unfortunately, someone like Carlton might have to be forced to fill it because they're the closest on this imaginary line. It's a bit unfair, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Let me just see what I've got here about it. Evening, Jack. Good evening, Ben. Welcome on again. One of our regulars there. Okay, so Ian comment has got, wasn't there something about the 4 teams that could be relegated from the National League? Only one is a northern-based side. The rest are, yes, exactly.
So the line would go up. Yeah.
Ben's put the way relegation works in the Northern Premier League West is mental. 2 go down automatically. 2 others are in. Yeah, this is why I don't even want to try explaining playoffs down there. 2 others are in a relegation playoff against the others from different divisions. It's so confusing. It's a minefield. It's an absolute. Anyway.
You said football's a simple game.
Yeah. Hey, it's such a minefield the way they've done it. But anyway, let's have a quick gander then at National League North. So up the top there, Kings Lynn have now taken top spot with 87 points, although Flied in it. How do you pronounce it? Filed. Mate, I can never... Mate,
near Blackpool.
I'm just going to remember now the Mrs.
10 minutes for this,
Nails, Filed. Okay. So they... obviously, they can regain that. They've got a game in hand. If they win the game in hand, Chester are sitting there with 78. So I think your top 2 sides are battling out. I do know Kings Lynn have got the money to go up. They're quite a rich club, Kings Lynn. But you got then below that Chester. Now, this is an interesting league for you, Darren, because 2 of the sides that you've actually done some blogs that are in this league. Yeah. And for me, Kettering are only 10 minutes up the road. I must venture up there. Obviously, Brackley have had a good couple of seasons, actually, been up the top there for a couple of seasons now. Banbury down, only promoted this season, weren't they, I think?
Yes, they came up,
They've not maybe had such a good time of it. Yeah, give us your views on this league, Darren. You know a little bit.
Yeah. I'm all over this one because Brackley's a pretty local team to me, only about 7 miles away. So about 3 weeks ago, Fylde was nailed on. Certainly, they were away and gone. And then they've had a few slippery results, which has allowed Kings Lynn to suddenly come right back into contention.
Yeah,
Chester are on the up since Christmas. They've come from nowhere. I think Fylde will just creep over the line, just purely because of that game in hand. Regarding the playoff situation, that's a really tough one to call because there's still a few teams got to play each other. So, for example, yesterday Brackley played Darlington, and there was only a point in it before the game. Brackley have still got to play Alfreton as well. Alfreton have got games in hand. Brackley sacked their manager a couple of weeks ago after a dismal run, including his last match was a home defeat to bottom of the table Telford. But now the club captain has came in, got a draw and a win against Darlington yesterday. So they, like Nigel said regarding the playoffs, they might just start finding their form again to be a real danger for that. But yeah, it's anyone's. It's all to play for in the Conference North.
And there's some big clubs in that league as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Big clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, Chester, Darlington, Hereford, all ex Kidderminster.
Yeah.
I mean, Kettering. Who remembers when Gazza went there as manager for a little while? Do you remember that?
Yeah, mid-2000s, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Gascoigne at Kettering. I remember that, yeah. Never worked, did it? Never worked, but never mind. Nigel, any views on that? You know any of the clubs in that division?
No, I've got to be honest. I don't really sort of look that far down to, but it's not that I don't like the football down there. It's just I sort of like I'm concentrating on the top two leagues at the moment. That's where so.
Bit of interesting info though. Berkhamsted have been promoted. You're one of your old clubs.
I played last time I played with them. They got promoted, and when I joined them, we won. We ended up winning 20 out of 22 games, and we drew the other two. So we went 22 games unbeaten to get third spot, and we got promoted.
Wow.
Yeah. So, do you know, all I know is that they've been promoted. We put something up on the page. So congratulations to Berkhamsted. I'm not sure what league they've jumped into. Also, congratulations going out to Stamford Town as well, who also been promoted. So well done to them.
We played Hemel Hempstead on Bank Holiday Monday. We was fourth and they were third. And there's 1,200 people at the match. And we beat Hemel and leapfrogged them and got promoted that year. So, yeah, I mean, like, I enjoy getting promotions. I enjoy getting wins. No matter what standard of football I'm playing at, I want to win.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Bencliffe Simple supports team who doesn't get relegated. What's that? Sorry. Simple support. Okay, not sure what you mean by that, mate. But anyway, but he's also mentioned the manager of Chester was also the manager of Runcorn Linnets last season and took a few of the Runcorn players with them. Mate, they've got a mental fan base at Runcorn. I've seen footage of them, like their ultras and all that, like with their flares and marching the games, seeing off the coaches and that. There's some amazing things go on in non-league football. We got to expose it all. And
do you know what though, Gaz? It's that's interesting because I pretty much think that managers of teams down at that standard of football, if they leave and go to another club, players want to follow them or they want to take players with them. I think at that sort of level, the players and the managers strike up a good relationship. So, like, if they move, the players want to move with them, don't they?
No, absolutely.
That's why a lot of clubs in the non-league level fall like a stone the following season because, like Nigel quite rightly says, yeah, they'll follow the manager. Yeah,
of course. Right, last one we're going to look at, and that is National League South. Now, congratulations, Ebbsfleet are champions in that league. Dartford not keeping the pace with Ebbsfleet there. They hit the 100 points, as you can see. Then you've got Dartford, Oxford, Chelmsford, St Albans. Some of these local clubs, Nigel, to Watford. Hemel Hempstead are in there and all, if you see, down in 13th. Chippenham Town, who we've had their financial manager on a couple of director on a couple of times. Simon, good lad. But yeah, you got some. That's a big game, isn't it? Hemel Hempstead versus St Albans. I wonder if this is maybe where Berkhamsted promoted into this. I'll have to have a look into that, Nigel, and we'll let you know. You got Slough Town in there. But yeah, any views on this one, Darren?
Is that Dover Athletic down the bottom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. They've fallen a bit, haven't they?
Yeah. They were doing well up in the National League for a while there, weren't they?
I spoke to Andy Hesenthaler when he was manager at Dover, and they'd gone full time. and he said he was paying his centre forward. He was paying him $2,500 a week.
Really?
Or
Wow.
a week. I don't know, but he said his highest paid player was on $2,500.
Jesus.
Last season they weren't fulfilling their fixtures at the beginning.
That's right.
So they're getting points deduction, and they've never recovered from it by the looks of the table.
No, it's just looking at some of the clubs that have really suffered. I mean, Scunthorpe obviously dropped down into non-league, and now they've dropped down into National League North next season.
Yeah.
I think I see comments of a lot of the National League North clubs will have a financial field day when they play Scunthorpe. But are you that well supported, Scunthorpe? Let me know, because I can't recall you bringing many away fans to Watford. But there we are. We'll see, shall we? There is something weird, about going into non-league. Grimsby, for instance, great away support. Never used to have great away support. Not 20, 30 years ago. I think when these big clubs get demoted, their support or the community galvanise and the support grows. And I've seen it with a few clubs. Wrexham, I mean, there's all this hype about underdogs. Wrexham aren't underdogs. They're a big fish in a little pond. Regardless of their owners, they're still a big fish in a little pond. I remember them. Nigel, you remember we in 1982, Watford got promoted 2-0 against Wrexham that night.
Yeah, I remember that well.
Yeah, I was on John Craven's news. I was the one who got on the pitch first with the Union Jack.
All right.
And John Craven said on John Craven's news, I'll never forget, they went, they think it's all over, and it was me. Going for a free kick. Oh, what a night that was. But Wrexham, I remember them playing West Brom in the FA Cup semi-finals. They're a big club in the non-league setup, or there's a few, Notts County, obviously a big one. So, there's nothing dramatic about Wrexham other than they've got quite a bit of money. Again, did they have massive away support 20, 30 years ago? I can't remember it. They have now. But I do genuinely think that when they drop down, it galvanises the community. Yeah. And they get behind their club. Maybe not all the time, but majority of the time, I think it works.
Yeah, there's a few exceptions to the rule, isn't there? But generally, success breeds fans.
Well, gentlemen, anything else you want to add? Darren, you enjoyed the show.
Loved it, mate. Thanks for inviting me.
And you come on again. Will you come on again?
Yeah, if you have me, more than happy to.
Yeah, cool. Anything else you want to add?
Listen, I've got something big to tell you now, all right?
Oh, hang on. Do I need a drum roll?
You're going to want to tune in next Sunday, for sure. I've just had a message off John Barnes. Said he can do next Sunday for us, all right?
I'll be elbowed out then.
So I'm going to give him a ring in a week. But I asked him what Sundays he's got available, and he said he could do next Sunday. So that's going to be very interesting. We get John on.
Wow. Well, we've known about it. I was with Nigel in the car. We were driving back from Carlton Town when he had John on the phone, and we've kept it under our hats. But
As you do.
As you do. We've not said nothing, but that is, folks, John Barnes joining the show next week, folks. Wow, that's amazing.
Twin Watford wingers, hey?
The two wingers,
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be a show next week, folks. Wow. Right. Well, we will end on that one, although I am going to end just quickly on this, which I think we should. Obviously, this week.
Don't forget to give my show a plug, mate.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that as well. There you go. This week. Obviously Hillsborough disaster, 97 now, isn't it? 34 years. And Nigel, I heard you say they say everyone remembers where they were that day.
Yeah.
And I was with Watford watching them at Swindon Town. I remember it vividly, and I remember the gossip going round the terraces that day because it was terracing. And I do remember that day very well. And it's true, you do remember where you were that day. It's a bit like everyone of an older generation remembers the day Kennedy got shot. You know, I do.
No, I can't even remember the side that we played that day. All I can remember is sitting there with my mouth open and gobsmacked.
You was at Villa, weren't you?
Yeah, I was sat in the change room at Villa, but if you ask me who we played that day, I wouldn't be able to tell you. All I can remember is all of us sitting in that dressing room, listening to what was going on, and just gobsmacked. And Miles Owen just couldn't believe what was hearing.
Wow.
It's incredible, wasn't it? I was sitting at home watching Grandstand with my mate, and they went over to the ground, and they said that there had been a delay. The game had been stopped. You see all the fans coming over, and my mate straight away said to me, "Bloody Liverpool fans because of Heysel," and I was like, and then obviously you see that this was no hooligan issue whatsoever. It just turned out to be the saddest thing I've ever seen football.
But terrible. that was the message coming out, because I remember on the terracing, that's what was coming out, and everyone's saying, "Oh, it's all kicking off, it's all kicking off."
Yeah.
And then obviously it turned out it wasn't kicking off at all.
Awful.
Absolutely awful. I had to finish with that, guys. We've had a few comments already, and both comments are, we have to get him to do the rap. Wow. Yeah. I mean, all right. We knew that there was a possibility of this happening, Nigel. But thanks for that, mate. That's
I just
news,
we just want him to come on and have a laugh and enjoy himself.
Yeah, that's it. Just enjoy the show. Yeah, talk about the old days and that, can't he? And that, and we'll keep it nice and light-hearted. And you don't want it to be serious with John, because at the end of the day, bless him, that's all he ever does. He gets dragged in on the serious stuff. Let's just come in and talk about what he loved and how you guys, both destroyed them wings when you were in your heyday.
Gaz, is there any way you can fiddle about with the graphics where you can be in the middle and your wingers can be either side of you? Ross Jenkins, move for Blissett.
The best I could do is this one, I think.
Yeah, up top.
No, that ain't quite right. I couldn't have.
I think
you can't have
you can take my place, Gaz.
Like that.
You can take my place on the bottom and put me and John on the left and the right.
I wonder if I could. Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah, there you go.
I just can't find a way of doing that. No, never mind. He'll have some good old days for sure. From Ben, Ian, 2 Watford legends on show together. Nice one. I think it's going to be an exciting show next week. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to leave it there then. Thanks, both of you. Anything you want to add after you've dropped that big bombshell?
Yeah, just I'll be on Mixcloud at
night. Yes. Sorry, I'm a bloody nightmare, ain't I? Join in. There we are. What time are you on tonight, mate?
9 o'clock. It's a Sunday chill out. Guilty pleasures.
Sunday chill. Remember, folks, you can join Nigel on his show from about 9 o'clock every night of the week, innit?
Yeah, most of the time.
And there's the link. There you go. Look, Mixcloud, Nigel Callaghan. Leave it up there for a second before we go. Join him for some terrific tunes. Oh, we've had another. What we got here? Ben Cliff. Get the memories of that goal too. Well, we know what goal he's talking about there, don't we? Although I'm sure, Nigel, I've heard John in an interview say that didn't help his career, that goal.
No, he said it's the best goal he's ever scored in his life, but it's probably the worst goal because after that, everybody expected him to do that every week.
Expectation
you're never going to score a goal like that every week, but the fans expected it, and it was hard for him to live up to that expectation. So anything less than that, the sort of fans were going, wasn't as good as he was last week. And this is on the international games that they're on about.
Okay. Well, we'll catch up in the week so we can sort out a test room and that. Right. Okay. That's the end of the show, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Can't wait till next week's show. I wonder why. But thanks, Darren, again. And we will have you back on, mate. Remember, catch Darren on his Facebook and his YouTube channel. Check out some of these videos of the non-league clubs. They're absolutely brilliant.
Cheers, Darren.
No, and we'll catch up with Darren soon. Darren will catch up in the week and look about getting some of these on our website. And I'm doing that whilst I try and find the end credits. There they are. Goodbye all. See you all next week. Oh, I'm excited.
The Proper Football Live Show, Sundays at 6 p.m. for your football fix on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and PF Radio. Check out our website.